Hi everybody, this is Debbie at pedigreedpups.com, and today I've got one quick question for you. Is your dog fat? Now, it's no secret that people all over the world are getting fatter because we can see it everywhere on the news, in the newspapers, on magazines, on TV, in the movies. We see it everywhere, but it's also a shame that we're passing down that trait to our pets as well. Now, it's been estimated that up to 60% of dogs in Britain and around 50% in the United States are overweight. So just think about it for a second. If you give your dog a whole lot of extra treats and calories, and if you don't exercise it, what do you think is going to happen to it over time? Well, your dog, just like you, is going to get heavier and heavier. So there's a lot of things you can do to praise your dog positively that aren't always food related. So it's really important to know that if your dog is overweight, it's more than likely going to contract a lot of diseases that it might not have if it had been thin and fit. And if it does get sick, it's a very good chance that it's also going to stay sick longer because it's going to have a harder time getting over being sick. So overweight animals are a lot more likely to have symptoms of old age at a much younger age than if they were fit, and also they're going to have a shortened lifespan. So first things first, how do I know if my dog is overweight? So here's a few tips for you. Can you see or feel his ribs easily? Does your dog have a clearly defined waist? So if you answer, it should be answered no. If you answered no to one of those items, like if you can't see or feel his ribs, and if your dog doesn't have a clearly defined waist, then he's probably overweight, so it should be a no. So anyway, if your dog is fat, clearly you just aren't giving him enough exercise. So here's a few things you can do to slim down your fat dog. First of all, before you do anything else, you want to take them to get them checked by a veterinarian. So this is first and foremost to make sure that there's no health problems or whatever. So you just want to get them checked by a vet first. And you want to make sure you use treats as treats only. You want to monitor your dog's caloric intake carefully. You want to keep all treats to 10% or less in their diet. You want to reduce their caloric intake. And contrary to popular belief, if you get them neutered, which is a really good idea, they're not going to get fat. So spaying and neutering a dog, these dogs are going to use less energy, and therefore they're going to need less food. So as long as you keep that in mind, you should have no problems with them gaining a lot of weight. You want to avoid people food. People food is really, really bad for dogs. So avoid people food and you'll have a lot less health problems with your animal, and also you'll have less problems with obesity. A lot of foods are going to provide healthy weight loss diets, I should say, are going to have lower calories, and they're going to also be well balanced, which is very important for any dog, especially a dog that you're trying to help lose weight. So you want to remember, you want to have high fiber and low fat in their diet. You want to remember also, if a lot of people ask me the question, should I feed less food or should I just switch it? Well, it depends. So you have to kind of keep an idea. If you're feeding really, really good food, you can feed less. But if you're not feeding really good food to your dog, you need to switch the food over time. Take it easy, but you want to switch it slowly over time. Get them onto a better diet, and then talk to your veterinarian with it, and they can help you work out a plan to help you get to the best diet you can afford for your animal. You also want to know any kind of breed or hereditary issues. Now, there are a lot of dog breeds that are more prone to being obese. The pug, the beagle, corgis. There's just a lot of different breeds out there. So if your breed is one that's more prone to obesity, you want to keep this in mind when you're feeding your animal. You want to keep them slim and trim. And there's a lot of health risks that are associated with obesity. Diabetes, heart problems, hip, elbow dysplasia, arthritis, and just a lot of other things that are more known to dogs that are overweight. So you want to keep this in mind as well. So how much weight and how fast? Now you can easily say if around 1% of your dog's body weight a week should be pretty easy to lose for your dog, and that's an acceptable weight loss plan. So otherwise, if you're not comfortable, really know what to do, talk to your vet about how much weight your dogs lose and how fast. So you want to monitor and regulate your dog's weight loss over time, and you also want to help set up an exercise program for your dog to help them lose those additional pounds. And that's so important. I got it on here twice. So you just want to make sure that you set up an exercise program for your dog. So the right amount of exercise is important. So if you just try to lower the food or whatever and you don't exercise, then your dog's going to have a whole lot more problems losing the weight. So exercise is really, really important. So play is also an important part of any exercise program. So if you don't have time to get out there and actively do something, more specific, walk around the block, play fetch, whatever your dog is up to, but get out there and play with them, then it'll help them to lose the weight. And probably the most important thing of all is just prevent it in the first place. Prevent obesity in your dog. Feed them the right amount of food, and you can look at that dog. You'll know if it's got too much weight on it. Keep your dog slim and trim and healthy, and you'll have it with you a whole lot longer. So now I've got a book I've just finished writing called Even Dogs Need Diet Help Sometimes, and there's over 45 tips in here to help slim your fat dog. So if you're interested in coming and getting a copy of this book for yourself, if you have an overweight dog, there's a lot of tips in here to help you, that goes into more detail about what you can do to help your dog, or help your fat dog lose weight. And that can be found at pedigreepups.com/dog_diet_tips.com. That's pedigreepups.com/dog_diet_tips.html. And again, we'd love to have you come check us out anytime. We have all sorts of information about all the AKC recognized dog breeds. We have articles, there's videos, there's just a little bit of everything there. Pictures you can come look at, dog breed profiles. We've got it all. So please come by and check us out at www.pedigreepups.com. And we want to thank you for your time. Y'all have a good evening, and thank you so much.